Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back once again to another Fallout 4 settlement build. Today we're going to be checking out the Shamrock Saloon, and I know we've made a saloon in the past, but I think we've come a long way since then. So I was hoping to give it one more go, and in this case I think it turned out quite well. But that being said, hopefully you all enjoy the build, and without further ado, let's go ahead and take a closer look. Alright guys, so first things first, we're going to be taking a look at the outside of the build. And I've got to say, not only this part, but also the inside as well, was heavily based on the Prospector's Saloon from Fallout New Vegas, although it's a very simplified version of it, at least in the whole layout of the building. But what I did try and do was add a lot more details, especially when it came to the inside. However, trying a build so similar to that one was almost very tempting, and it got to a point where it was really tough for me to decide whether to make one just roughly based off it or just go all out and copy it pretty much piece for piece. And I think each one of them would have been equally as cool, but I don't know, this one, it just feels more personal, I think. But if you did want to try and recreate it, I think all you'd have to do is maybe flatten out the top, extend the left of the build, and then add in that section that sticks out, which I think is where the office is in the New Vegas version. But in terms of our build, it really is quite a bit more simple. So you can see the front of it is pretty much completely flat aside from our deck out front and just a few decorations out here, such as the ice machine or the Nuka-Cola one. And there's also a few places to sit down and relax, such as our many benches and the couple of chairs, which you might imagine people are sitting down at and just having a cigar. Other than that, there's a few signs and even our Shamrock Saloon neon lights to the left. And last but not least, we have the big giant Shamrock Tap House sign that we're borrowing for the time being, although I doubt they need it back anytime soon. But anyways guys, moving inside, you'll see the layout, like I mentioned, is quite similar to the one from New Vegas. We have the area to play pool in off to the right hand side, and then the bar is over on the left. The only main difference is pretty much all the furniture type things or small decorations, and also the fact that there's no room back here. And I believe in the New Vegas version they also had a back room with a few restrooms, but just for the sake of keeping this one pretty simple, I chose to scrap that entirely. But I think for the space we did have, we made good use of it. So starting off, you'll see on the left-hand side we have a few tables, and for this build I've sort of chosen to designate the tables to be the place where people would both drink and eat meals, whereas the bar is a place where they would just do drinking alone, nothing else. So over on the left we've got those, a couple other decorations such as the cigarette machine picture and then the big giant Yao Guai head, and then there's also some barrels, which I always tend to use just as sort of barriers between two sections inside a building. Although I like them because they don't completely block it off. You can still kind of see over them, and it's just a nice atmospheric thing, in my opinion. And then there's also Jangles the Moon Monkey, who's a sheriff now, so he means business. But other than that, we have the main bar, as you can see. And along the left-hand side are the booths, and each of them are pretty loaded up with the decorations, as you can see. Although for the middle one, I've tried to make it seem as if it's in the process of being cleaned up or washed. Now, in terms of bars we've done inside builds, I'm not sure if I like this one as much as the one we made inside the Bounty Hunter area, although I think this is definitely a huge step up from that very first one we did inside our initial saloon. But that's just my opinion. You guys will have to let me know what you think. But as you can see, the bar itself is heavily decorated with tons of different things like beers, candles, even a ham radio and some caps, and honestly quite a few other things. And then the counter along the back has just lots of booze and different types of alcohols and some other things to mix it up, like the pitchers, the lantern, the cash register, and also a radio. And then as you can see, just to go even further, the back wall has quite a few decorations as well. And at the end of the day, I really wanted this to have sort of a Western feel, so you'll notice I put in a few things just to help out with that, such as the Brahmin skull and even the various animal heads that have been framed up on a few of the walls. As for the bar area, I'd say that's pretty much everything, so we'll go ahead and move over to the entertainment side of the build. So you'll see we have the great big pool table in there. This room's just kind of all fun and games, and then off to the right hand side is where our lounge area is. So this spot in particular has quite a few more subtle decorations. Nothing too crazy, but more along the lines of just pictures, plants, and books. And there's even a nice cane to spice things up. Now for this room, as you can see, compared to everything else, it's quite a bit more bright and colorful. There's also a few more funky details, like the bobblehead Nuka-Cola truck, a few comic books that sort of have a Western style, and some other things like the teddy bears playing, well, they were planning on playing checkers, but since a game of pool's going on at the moment, that plastic thing that I don't know the name of is blocking their way, which almost makes me feel bad for the little guys. Aside from the various entertainment aspects of this build, there's also some more common decorations, like the various pictures or posters kind of scattered throughout the walls, such as the sign with all the pool game rules, and over here on the left side you'll see we've got a chalkboard in case someone ever needed to keep score. And I'm not sure if you can see, but over here in the corner I tried putting in something else that most people wouldn't notice, but it's still kind of cool and adds a bit of reasoning to why the wall's red. But other than that, I'd say that's pretty much everything for today. I know I didn't really cover every single tiny detail, but I'm sure some of you with a more observant eye probably caught some more of the little things. But anyways guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy the video. By the way, if you have any ideas for future builds, I would love to hear those along with your thoughts on today's build. But yeah, thanks again for watching guys, and as always, I will see you in the next one.